happening? What's happening? We back again. What's going on, everyone, man? How's everyone's week been? Welcome to the In His Mind podcast. What's been cracking, everyone?
What's up?
I know, no clap, nothing. Just,
No, man.
Just
Today's
you left us
week's-
alone, like, you know what I'm saying? Clap for us, so we
You
do
can have
know.
all of that, bruv. It's a miserable week for me.
Yeah, how's your week been? Talk to me.
Bruv, it's been whack.
Is it? What
It's been whack. Tesco man's driving into my car. Freaking washing machines getting backed up with water, hijacking my uniform. But it's,
It's one of those weeks.
It's one of those weeks, innit?
Got you.
So in my mind right now, I just it's
Sip
not.
some-
I'm not
sip
the
something
one.
nice, you know what
Let's
I'm
just
saying?
do that.
Sip something nice.
I think somebody else is talking. I'm negative right now.
Bryony, how's your week been?
I just got back from a weekend away in Barcelona
Oh, lucky
So
you.
tell us about it. How did you get there?
on a flight.
Yeah,
Was it?
on the flight. Okay. How's the
Catching
flight?
flights, yeah.
How's the flight?
You catching what?
Flight.
You catching feelings as well.
Flight.
Look at her.
Yeah, it was very luxurious. We'll go with that word.
Luxurious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to the man providing
Where
the
did you stay?
luxury.
Where did you stay in Barcelona?
Uh, at the W. So that was nice. Looking out on the beach. Yeah. I feel like this is too much. You've just complained about your week.
I know, she's all
Why
rubbing
we
it up
call
her
it as
face.
glamorous?
Staying at the W.
Don't do it luxurious.
Luxury.
I know she could have said it, but
Hey, you got a washing machine to wash my clothes.
How's your week, man?
Do you know what? It's been lit, man. Studio sessions,
I see you've been active,
records. Yeah, done a couple networking events. No, it's been really good, man.
though. Yeah, productive.
Very productive. Very, very productive. I'm very excited.
Oh man.
You know, every week I be something I'm very excited.
Yeah.
The one day I'll say, this is why I was excited. So it's
That
coming.
was dope. It was
Yeah.
productive.
Very productive, man. Very happy.
Well, my week's been nice. I got verified on Instagram. That was cool.
Oh,
wow.
sick.
I love
Oh, you're
that.
verified now, yeah?
It's so nice.
Shout out to him.
So now I change how I speak. I'm better.
I see you got the legs crossed and
Yeah,
everything.
I'm a
Man's
puppet.
verified now, you know. Man
I'm
gets legs
verified,
crossed
like,
and that.
They know me. Like
Don't change up on me, Joe.
Mark Zuckerberg knows me. Like, he get me. He sent me the Bluetooth. Now I'm joking. No, it's been dope, man. It's been dope. Like we shot the finals episode of Blue Therapy was out,
Yeah,
so that was nice.
nice.
That,
Congratulations.
what a
on
grand
that.
finish. Oh, it was phenomenal. It was
So
phenomenal.
what's happening? Is there season 2 or what?
Yeah,
We
we
don't know, bro. Let's see how it goes.
need to see
man.
you in
Let
that
the
chair,
universe-
again, man.
let the
They
universe
need
do
some
what
help
it do.
out here, Joe.
Hey man, let the universe do what it do, man. Let the
Yeah.
universe let go and let God. That's the
That's it.
philosophy I'm on this year. Is just let the universe do what it does. But it's been amazing to watch people's response, and it's nice to be objective once in a while. So it's nice. It was nice.
Congratulations.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad everyone had a nice week.
Could it have sounded less sincere? It's
So
not
sad.
sincere.
I'm trying to not
I'm
be a
glad
hater.
everyone had a nice week.
What?
All right, cool.
Pissed off, man.
But in fact, your week is a great segue to even start. We're talking about men in families, you know, from all different places, from uncles, dads, granddads, nephews, sons. As long as you're a man, and I'm talking about adult age, obviously, when I say you're a man, well, you're over 18, you know, because that's when we're going to start putting that man title on you. We can't put it on you less than that. How do you perceive those kind of, when you have a week like that, how do you manage that from the stress and just the over obligations? How do you balance all of these things as a man? And how do you tie it to your role? Do you tie it to just a human, like how do you look at all of those things and how do you kind of navigate those difficult weeks?
Man, you know what? I read one book, yeah. This is like, you know, they asked that question, like, if you were stuck on the island, what books would you take with you? This is one book that I would take with me. And it's called The Power of Now. Yeah, by Eckhart Tolle, I think
I'm
it is.
reading that at the moment.
That book, life-changing. You see, and that book, one thing that book taught me was learning how to have a presence of mind and learning how to be in the moment. Yeah. And so to answer your question is, when I have those high stressful, you know, weeks where this is going on, that's going on, this is going on, and still I got the responsibilities of this and then that, like the only way I'm able to, cope with that kind of level of stress is being present in the now. That's all I got. So instead of me worrying about the car crash and what I need to do, or, you know, this and the washing machine, it's what actually is happening now in this moment. and I just deal with that. I allow myself, being an overthinker, you can think about so many other things that I've actually been able to allow myself to just, no, what's going on now? We podcasting, let's do that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we walking, let's just do that.
Do you know what? Mikhail the Energy, he's gonna come on the podcast soon.
Oh, I love this guy. It's just a treat when you lot
I had a
see
chance
when
to
you
sit
speak
with
to
him,
him.
and he said something to me that I was like, you know, that's so profound. He said like, what he learned in his journey in Africa was that all suffering is in the mind. This is all of it is in the mind.
I believe
and
so.
And then he's like, but you're here to witness, observe, and engage in the pleasures of existing, and that's what it is. But what happens is, all the suffering happens in the mind, and it's quite interesting because not just from an African spiritual point of view, even in the Far East, in their philosophy, it's the same thing. It's like it's in the mind, what we hold on to, what we take in, and things of that nature. So I guess I can understand why that power of now just snaps you back to what is happening right now. What's happening right now is that you're just on your way to. It
teaches you how to use your mind correctly.
Yeah.
Because your mind is a tool. Sometimes we start to use the mind more intimately than we're supposed to. It's a problem solver. It's there to solve the equation, solve the problem in the moment. Outside of that, the mind has no business.
There's no business.
You understand what I'm saying to you? You
Outside
just need to focus about being. And that's when I learned the difference between being, being present, and then just, allowing your mind to just tick over 101 things that probably half of those, 90% of those things you're thinking is crap, is not useful. It's waste.
It's waste of energy.
It's the waste of energy. Just be present moment, and you probably fix the problem in the moment more than you would just overthinking things. And I'm being an overthinker. I say this, I know this is much easier to say than to do. So this is taking years, and I'm still practicing it now.
Yeah. It's not something that you can just pick up.
Yeah. I have my bad days, I have my good days, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Buzz, how do you handle your bad days and good days?
It's so weird. I'm someone, I'd naturally think I'm just a modern day hippie. Literally, I don't see anything as a problem. I see everything as a challenge. And with challenges, the moment you kind of accomplish that, then it's gone. Whatever issue is gone. So it's not a problem.
Right.
And also, I don't really regret things either. I feel like life is one big experience. I'm going to make mistakes. The quicker I learn from them, the easier my life becomes. And you learn that with age and time. Some people learn that quicker than others. You know what I mean? There's always an example. They talk about when you get burnt by fire. If you put your hand on fire, the first time you see fire, you're so amazed by it. Oh my God, it's so bright and da-da-da-da. You usually see fire from afar, especially when you're young, but they warn you about it. Like, stay away from fire. Stay away. Thinking, listen, you use it every minute. It's everywhere. And then the moment you get burnt, you be like, listen, I don't play with fire. And I think that's what life is about. So I take everything like that. I think I can't control someone else's emotion. I can't control the weather. I can't control a lot of things. All I can control is myself and how I feel and how I interpret how other people make me feel.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you could be upset because someone's pissed you off that day, and then you're shouting at me, and you're shouting at me. But I've now got to a point in my life where it's like, oh, you're dealing with something. I tell myself that. I tell them, like, you're dealing with something. You're mad. I'm gonna leave you. Some people are like, you're leaving me. Yeah. You need to go cool down. And some people see that as and again, I have to take into account, like, everyone has their own perspective. Some people need to get angry, or they need to relieve their frustration in some sort of way for it to actually
not kill them.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And that's another point of maturity that I've got to. I understand some people do that. Maybe when I was younger, someone shouting at me, I used to just return the same energy, almost like a mirror. Like, I'll be so cool. You're saying something crazy, and I'll literally give you that back. Oh, you really want to talk crazy? Yeah. I'm the craziest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now I just realize,
I need to be on your level. I don't need to match that energy.
And a lot of people, like,
that's called integrity, buzzing.
And a lot of people are dealing with traumas. A lot of people don't understand themselves. Like, a lot of people are angry and they don't know they're angry. A lot of people don't know when they're talking, they're shouting. That's how they communicate. So a lot of people don't know when they're shutting down. One of the things that used to bother me, doesn't bother me as much. Like, when someone goes, I was gonna, that's what, they do this thing where they're gonna say something, don't worry about it.
Can't stand that.
Say that again.
Why did you bother announce it then?
You know what? You
can't stand that.
Nah, don't worry about it.
I love that. I'm like, thank you. Get back
Yeah,
to my
Joe,
life.
Joe, that's one thing that me and you.
Thank you.
I don't understand that. I'm like you, buzzing. I can't. Just why would you even highlight that there was something to say?
He's saying he's with Joe.
Yeah, that don't bother me.
What, that you're okay with that?
No, there was a time.
I got to deal with.
No, bro. There was a time, because see, so ironic
That's
about that, because when we talk about relationships, especially from a brother, especially from a man perspective, this is what the thing as well, because I look at my sisters, I've got younger sisters, and they obviously, they're young women, they're doing their thing and stuff, and I feel like maybe over the years that they're growing up, because, you know, they obviously now, one of my sisters is in a long-term relationship, and I'm so funny, because one time, I remember we had this thing, and she was like, oh, I don't come to you. She basically was saying, like, not to put it out there too much, but she was just saying, like, yo, you don't check for me, bro. Do you get me? Like, I'm thinking, whoa, where did that come from? Do you get me? I was like, because me and her got a great, like, we talk all the time. Yeah. But she's like, you don't know where I'm working right now. I'm like, you working? I know you're working, right?
You think you got it, but you don't.
What's happening in front of you?
No, it was a reality.
Coming outside.
No, it was a reality check. She was like, you don't know where I work. You don't know the people I'm working with around. I was thinking, whoa, this is a boyfriend. You just don't be. Then, but I had to process, because again, I've understood that.
It's a boyfriend problem.
No, but I've understood. She ain't gonna understand that, because I understood where I am in life and who I am. And I was like, before, I'd be like, listen, you need to grow up. Like, that is not my problem. But then I had to understand, like, oh, do you know what? She's trying to reach out to me. She's obviously feeling something. Not to say that her relationship, because her relationship's great, obviously from there.
No, the two have nothing to do with each other.
Nothing to do with each other.
Big brother.
But it's the masculine energy in her life that she, you know what I'm saying?
She grew up with.
She grew up with, and that's not there. So she feels that there is a kind of void, and it doesn't know where it's from. And then I realized, as a mature, older person in her life, as a more older brother, I realized that, oh, what has happened, what I did was, the moment she got a boyfriend, and I verified him. I had to verify that guy first.
Of course you do.
Once I verified that guy, I was like, bro, he's cool. He's got this.
Yeah.
He can deal with all that other stuff. Because
Yeah.
I still got my own family and my own things. And you know what I'm saying? And then when I had that conversation where she was like, wow, it's true, you know? And I was like, I know, right? But this is what I'm trying to say, like, about...
You helped to understand
bro,
it.
we both understood it. It's like, yo, like, first of all, I had to let her know, listen, I love you dearly. There's like, my sisters are, and my mother, obviously, they're the introduction of how a man and a woman works. We're talking about men work.
Facts.
I learned how women work through my mom. That, this is how, that's why with women, I've been able to kind of communicate with them in a way that they understand. And I kind of understand the things that they like. And you know what I'm saying? But it's because of the relationship. So when I look back and she's upset about, and it's so funny as well, because the guy that she's with is somebody, if I had to write a CV of the kind of guy that I want for my sister, the guy is everything to the T. And in my mind, subconsciously, I positioned her for that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't expect that. That's the one thing that someone said to me. I think it was even Joe. And it says, being a father or brother or man is a thankless job. No one's gonna be like, thank you, brother.
Definitely.
That's why guys are so into bromance. Because the guy was like, no, you're hard. You're
good. That's where we get the appreciation.
That's where you
Facts.
get the roses.
I tell man with that all the
Facts.
time.
Women feel like, women in general, like your mum, your sister, whatever, they're gonna be like, bro, you was the best, bro. I've never gone for a brother's brunch. Not to say my sisters wouldn't take me out on my birthday.
But it hasn't happened up to this point.
You get me? But they've never said, bro, do you know what? You was
Let's
always
just
there
celebrate
for me.
you.
Yeah. And then I'm not to say that they don't feel like that, because they show love in other ways.
Exactly.
But it's just going back as a man and processing these things. When I look back on it and I be like, when I have a bad day or things going on in my life, I don't tell them. I just deal with it. Do you get me? Because I don't feel like I need to put that on you. That's the way I've been built. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just get on with it. I deal with it.
But then, sorry, do you think that a lot of the time we internalize all these jobs and roles, and then we suffer underneath the burden of them when they become too much, because we assume that we're responsible for so much things. Because the only time 100%. We get any validation or praise is when we are doing those things. You know what I mean? I
think it's so weird because, again, it boils down to the perception of the man generally in the society that we're in right now. I think the times that you're in is really important to understand the psychology. When we think about Tudors, we think about, okay, who was around? What was the environment? They'll do or post World War II. Everything, the climate.
So what do you think men are now then?
So I feel like the way women, like my sisters, my mother, and I do feel like they feel like men are not as useful as they were back in the day. And that is based upon, obviously...
They say that.
No, they say that.
They say that. It's not true, though.
They say that, but that's their... And I feel like that there may be their experience and their vision. Because, one, women, especially in London, and I don't want to talk about race, whatever, but I feel like black women can get jobs way easier than black men. Just in certain categories.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because obviously, I don't think a woman's gonna want to go.
No, but you have to understand.
Mechanic.
But also, let's add context to that because reality is there's more black women in university graduating than there are black men.
Thank you.
So that's a factor.
So they're in more positions.
Less and less black men are going to universities, though. So when you go in those professional environments, you're going to see more black women in there. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear these things, I understand that this is what the women's experience is. And it's nothing for me to disagree with.
And then what's happening is
this is how you're.
What's happening is a lot of these women are becoming a bit more. I wouldn't say more successful, but I feel like a lot of women.
Yeah, they become more successful.
I don't want to generalize, but I just feel like a lot of women are in better positions. No, they're just in better positions than they may have been 10 years or 20 years ago.
Facts.
So they have more options because we all know with money creates options. You know what I'm saying? So
but not necessarily for her.
No, not necessarily for her, but I think that's the illusion. Because
because
now more women are not in relationships than ever.
So
because they don't. Because I feel what's happening.
Money doesn't help.
Because I'm going back. My point is, I'm trying to go back. The value of the man is not the same as it was before.
No,
so women don't value men the same way, so they're not investing in that man in the same way.
Yep.
A lot of guys.
That's true.
Because obviously we've been going
so much.
Go on. Sorry. But for you, what's your stance on today's stance of where men are in terms of the family? How are we? Do you agree with what Buzz is saying? Do you think that we're not valued as much as we once were? And if we aren't, where's our part to play in that?
I think I kind of agree with Buzzing in the sense that the value has changed. I feel because of the, and I'm not disagreeing with this, but because of the fact that females have been capable and in positions to do a lot more than they used to before as the traditional woman, a lot of the roles and responsibilities that the man would take on have kind of been self-fulfilled by the woman herself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then now it's kind of interesting because I kind of understand now where in culture the whole why we've opened up, especially from the female perspective, on just like a sex. Because now technically, what else does a man really offer a woman apart from dick? Now,
I think
like
there's a lot.
When we talk, there is we can. But when we talk about what a woman could do for herself now,
even that,
and then what she needs from a man or what she feels she needs from a man. It's not the same as before.
No, it's not the same as before.
And it's kind of confusing things because I feel like there's a lot of men, we're trying to be men in the traditional sense, but that's not being recognized or being appreciated.
And so traditional men are not needed as much as
exactly. So then it's just like, so then what do I do here for you?
And that's a good
But
question.
then here's the problem. Here's a great area I'm just pointing out is that man will take a seat back and relax and feel like he's respecting the woman's independence and doing. But it's but it's not. It's not. Because she's gonna turn around and she's gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't do this for me,"
That's crazy.
and you're like, "Whoa, I was just respecting your independence, darling." But you find out the hard way. It's not that.
You becoming that. Respecting women's independence is not falling back. That's not respecting it. That's misunderstanding.
It's all. I'm learning this shit new.
Because you ain't got to. Because falling back is never an option for anybody. And she's not even asking.
Wait, when I say fall back though, what are we talking about here though?
So when you say fall back, respect her,
what do you think I'm saying?
Not fulfilling the things that you
allowing
her to fulfill the things that you think you were once needed for.
That she feels like you're giving her the responsibility.
The reason why she never do that is because at the end of the day, every relationship requires people to always put their 100% in. There's no falling back ever on anything.
That's a good point.
Ever. What I realized, but something that you've highlighted that's so important for us to talk about is we have to elaborate on what these things mean because it's true. Because I think there's more men that are sitting there like, then what am I useful for? And I think that's a lot of men.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, what we forget is that your use has never just been about finance.
Yeah, I agree.
Your use has never just been about finance.
This is where as men, I feel like we're learning.
We are listening.
Teachable moments.
Women, right? We're listening to their expectation or whatever they have. But you have to understand, your manhood is not tied to her. You being a man is not tied to her. You being of service is not tied to your manhood. Do you get what I'm saying? Meaning that regardless of anything, if you get in a relationship with someone, and the problem why women are doing a lot of these things is because men are proving themselves undependable. That's why they're doing it. Because
that's true.
It's a reaction to us not being dependable, us leaving them, us doing. This is how they ended up here. It wasn't like, oh, you know what? We just want to work now. No, the men were gone during the World War. Women were at home.
Yeah, but think about it though. That's not the conversation that in modern day we're not hearing it like that. No, even though what you're saying is facts.
I'm giving you the history of how we.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is, it's just we're not, especially the younger audience. We're old enough to understand that. The younger audience are not hearing that part of the
Because it's
story.
not relevant to them now.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not
But
relevant to them
they're still dealing with it.
No, what I'm saying
I feel like it's us that kind of, set the new blueprint.
This is what I'm
and
saying.
These conversations are those initiatives that will now,
make them aware.
Okay, so for example,
up.
you got a woman that's independent woman. All you men out there, so you want an independent woman, this is the chat you're saying. You want an independent woman, blah, blah, blah. What that means, bruh, is that you're saying you want a woman who could do for self, a woman that's doing her own thing. You want the boss thing and all that stuff like that. But bear in mind, when she starts bossing on you, you start feeling a way about it.
Exactly.
So that's on you. The reality of it is you can emotionally support. You can psychologically support.
True.
You can be resourceful. But the most thing, you can be dependable. These are all valid things. But because we think in our viewership of our value is in the finances, that's where we run into trouble. So when a man don't have the finances, he feels less of a man. But in reality, your man is not tied to anything material. It's not tied to any of these things. You always can be valuable in every scenario.
So your natural abilities.
Sorry?
Because all those things you spoke about, emotional,
Yeah, I believe it's all our natural ability. Because if it wasn't, God wouldn't have created man and woman to be together. It had to be natural. It's just that we've leaned on one thing over the others. But this is what the maturity brings about, is perspective, isn't it? My thing is that your family, your woman, all of those things, your hands should be on it full time. There's no falling back. There's no blasé.
100%.
You gotta be active in those areas because
Fully engaged.
If you're fully engaged, so it means that my woman's working, right? Let's say she's a working woman. She's coming home and we live together, right? Bro, your power could be the ease you bring. Yep. That's powerful. Because she comes home and she can find some relaxation and powerful. She's gonna pay it back to you.
100%. That's why you wash them dishes.
So it's not
you get them kids to sleep.
Right. So
then you having a good night.
There we go. But those don't require one penny. Those things don't require one penny, and that's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
you don't require one penny.
You're right.
Or just like, you know what, she's had a long day. No, I've made some dinner. I've kids in bed. Blah, blah, blah. Life just calm.
Yep.
That's powerful also.
It is.
Because there's some man, women will tell you, some man that spend money on the girl, but not emotionally available, and they find out that don't work either. Because every human deep, like close connection. So when you're actually engaging with a woman, logic won't be the only thing you need. That's why I tell man, logic won't save your relationship. Being logical to someone that's emotional is the dumbest thing you can do. It just aggravates them.
Yep.
Yeah? So it means that, back to that same thing about safety, because my philosophy, what my kids taught me is that safety first, then remedy. But I realized that's how I deal with women as well. Safety, like, if I create a safe space where you can express yourself, talk about all your concerns, and voice out your opinion and feel like you're seen, heard, and respected, then she will open up for your remedy. We jump straight to the remedy. Okay, how do we fix this? How do we fix this?
It doesn't work.
She want to fix this thing.
And then we get frustrated
That
that she's not respecting our leadership. Why
Because
she's
part of being a leader,
true.
if you're president of a country, if all you know is the economical development of the country, you will fail. Because you need to know the welfare
You need to
of
know
the country,
everything.
road, everything.
Everything.
Right, so if you're a manager, do you know one part of the business or do you know the whole business? The same thing. If you're a man in the house and you're the leader,
You're
you
right.
have to
Certain
know
leaders-
logic and money. You have to learn
You're right.
emotional intelligence, spiritual leadership. You have to learn all these moving parts. That cool. Because the hardest thing men tell me that I say this sentence to man them, and they're always like, Joe, this is hard. And I'm like, bro, at some point you have to put that logic down. She's gonna require you to put logic down, and that's where men fall.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
By the thousands, boy.
They're like, what do you, bro? Just calm down, because this moment will pass. By the way, this moment will pass. So that's what I mean by using all the other faculties and using all the other bits. Because just because you ain't got money and you got this, is because we don't have the education necessarily, or we're not.
I feel like I was about to say that
we don't have the education. So that's why a lot of us were like, even I've been there where I'm like, let me fall back then, because clearly every time I do something, but she don't want you to fall back. It's a trick.
It's education, and it opens up the conversation as well. As like, yo, like, what do you actually really want? Because this is the thing.
Who really want?
Anyone, when you're getting into a relationship, there's what I thought it was gonna be, and then it's what it is. Do you get me?
That harsh reality.
Yeah.
And what you wanted to be.
And not what it is don't happen overnight. It's when you get tested with real life situations. I always tell people it's always cool until it's not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
Facts.
And then when that's everything has to get tested. It's the test that determine the connection, the relationship, all of that. It's the test. They come in all shapes and sizes. You can't predict the test. The test ain't gonna be, we're gonna be together. Then someone comes out and say, oh yeah, I'm sleeping with your man. I knew you would. All men are the same. You don't listen. When you start talking like that, no,
but we understand, because you know what's happening.
but you get what I'm saying though.
I get what you mean, but we do get to that point. But it's true, when you get to that point, you've completely checked out the game. Because the reality, if you think all men are the same, you're always going to pick the raw.
That's what I need to say.
Because if you can't separate who's a good one, who's a not, then the chance of you end up with the ones that are not is higher, isn't it?
Well, all you're seeing is the same.
All you see is the same. So you're
how
never
can you pick anything different?
That's what I'm saying. Some
you see is
people.
the
That's
same.
why I asked you guys earlier about being single. It was like, bro, some people actually need time to heal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I was gonna say
don't
as
even
well though.
realise that
The
themselves.
perspective of what being single is. A lot of people think being single is, oh yeah, I'm out here. Let me mess with this
Bro,
person's
break
daughter
that down,
and that
please.
person's
That's
daughter.
a very good point.
Being single is about, am I good with self?
Facts.
Do I know self?
Do I
Can
love
I
self?
can
Do
I
I
love
respect
self?
self?
Can I respect self? Can I give everything that I would like somebody else to give me? Can I give that to myself? Because if I can do that for myself, then in that doing, I deserve for others to do for me. You understand? And then I can go out there and be like,
Yeah.
That's what I see it. As.
Say that again,
I
sorry?
love myself so much. I want to share it.
Share. And that's
Yeah,
what
but
we
then you
forget
don't
that
have
love is about.
self-development. You're content in yourself.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like once you got to that point, it's like you graduate. Now you can get into a relationship.
Now you can
because
be
you
in
have
partnership.
something to offer. You have to offer yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because if you can't take care of yourself, you're going to take care of someone else.
You can't.
How you going to do that if you can't?
Because
take
if
care of
you haven't even learned how to learn for yourself, and you've got all the
people love
information
and-
there, so how are you gonna go externally and try and learn?
Because you know why?
You haven't got the tools for that, big man. Do you
we
understand
are
what I'm saying?
always projecting our needs on other people.
Yeah,
Because we ain't giving it to ourselves.
I think that's a
Because
natural.
You have to understand
thing that we do
When we
sometimes.
talk about emotional intelligent people, this is the thing that everyone don't talk about. Everyone wants an emotional intelligent person, but an emotional intelligent person ain't putting up with your shit. This is the thing I don't
That's
think you
emotional
understand.
intelligence.
You want an emotional intelligent person. Emotional intelligent person knows that if you're messing with my peace, I'm out. That's what emotional intelligence also means. So even though we crave things, sometimes I just feel like we crave things that we are not, thinking someone else will fill in that gap. But in reality, you got to fill in your own gaps.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? And then fill in your own gaps, because then when you do, you learn how to love properly to some degree. You start to understand, like, you know what? We got to be harmonious. We know that it's not the absence of the problem. It's how we tackle it, how we do conflict resolution, how do we do things. You have to understand, like, your partner's on a different timeline. They might take forever to get there. You got to decide if you're willing to wait forever. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the reality. You got to wait. Like, am I willing to wait forever? And once you know that you're not, communicate that.
You know what?
Let that be known.
I think, Joe, the reality is that that partner's coming to you when he's coming to you. The question really is, what do I want to do with self till then?
Yeah, understand that.
Do I want to sit in torture and torment and in negativity till that moment? Or do I work on being the best version of me and experiencing life in the best way I can? So then when that person comes, I've got so much more to give and share. But we don't think about it. We don't think about it like that.
We are very impulsive with the love thing. But I guess, but for men, I mean, once you start having a family and all that stuff, you can't switch off. You're always switched on.
Two hands
You're always
on.
switched on. Two hands on the game. You cannot go into autopilot. Because whatever, I tell men all the time, whatever you're experiencing from your woman is your fault. I always say this.
Yeah.
Somehow I can trace it back to my fault. Because where I should have vetted things before I picked you, what red flags that I ignore, how should I have dealt with things in the past.
You know what that's called, Joe? That's called having responsibility and respect for the relationship.
Bro, I gotta look at,
you know, the third entity.
I'm talking about even having it for myself first, because I realized since I've had
true.
it for myself, I haven't ran into drama with women, and that's what I've realized. Once I had it for myself, I mean to understand,
because you just don't allow yourself to experience.
I know how to
certain
be
things.
peaceful. I really know how to. Do you? Because if you don't, this is long anyway. I know how to be peaceful. Do you know how to be peaceful?
Yeah.
I know how to be happy with having nothing. You have to. I've created a situation in my life where the woman has to do bare minimum, because all the happiness and stuff is already coming from me. It's fine.
Yeah.
The bare minimum. Can you add on? Brother said one of our things. Can you help?
Yeah.
Can you add on? Because if not, it's long. It's fine. I'm actually cool, and you should be cool on your own either. Because at the end of the day, when you that dependency is a problem.
That
dependency is
dependency is the beginning of toxicity.
It is, but what happens is this is what I learned, like being in love and toxic. What I've really learned is like, like our ideas around love is messed up.
Yeah.
And I think we think it should feel good all the time. The idea that love should feel good, I think, is distorted. Because at the end of the day, it don't feel good when my mom's telling me off about certain things or she's slapping about certain things, but she did it because she knew. If I go outside,
tough love don't feel good.
It don't always feel good, but we've been told love should feel good. Yeah. And when it stops feeling good, everyone starts,
like it's not love no
it's
more.
not love no more.
The love's gone.
But what's happened, the love's not gone. The thing is, you've been focusing on the romance. And when the romance went, you went. because you came in for the romance. But the love is beyond just the romance. Do you understand what
I'm going
saying?
to say something a bit
That's a
political here,
bar.
but I feel
them rappers.
that females suffer from that situation
Everyone.
more than
I don't
feel,
think so.
No, because I don't think
Everyone
as men,
I think
I
we all
personally, in my mind, I don't think we romanticize relationships
Yeah, we
as
do.
much as females.
Oh, yes, we do.
You think so?
I've lost track
Talk
of how
about.
many-
I don't know where's the lost.
guys in situations. I'm looking at them like, why are you there? Every man does it. I don't know what we're talking about. There's so many times I looked at men and like, what are you doing? Because we all do it. We're human.
Yeah, but is the man there because he romanticized the
Yes,
situation?
because why else would he be there? He shouldn't be there.
Remember, it's that fantasy of
That fantasy.
maybe one day, maybe
There
one
we
day.
go.
it's gonna
Okay.
change.
You get what I'm
Alright,
saying?
alright.
Maybe one day
Okay,
it's
so
gonna
maybe
get
I'm
you.
learning that we
Yeah.
romanticize differently then.
Bro, yeah, we
I get
romanticize
it.
differently, but
I
men
get it.
do
I get what
it.
you're
I feel
saying.
Like
One
romance
day
is
we romance.
definitely-
It's a human thing.
Because I know the romance is in the mind, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's what
because
you
at the
all
end of the
think.
day,
I get it.
There's men like
get it.
we've seen in situations where you're like, bro, why are you still there with her? I don't understand. Like, why one for you? Because
Women
you're
that
in the
maybe
romance.
cheating on their man,
Bro,
and that,
because you're in the
all this.
romance. That's the only reason you're there. Do you understand? It's because you're lost in the romance. Outside of the romance, the reality, because the reality is too harsh to take. That's what's happened. Sometimes, the longer you are in the fantasy, the more damaging the reality is. So there's no going back now.
Yeah, there's
the
no
reality
going back.
means
Yeah,
you have
you
to
just
leave.
want. Yeah, you want to.
So I don't want to leave, so I can't do the
Yeah,
reality.
you're stuck in the fantasy.
So it's a human thing.
That's
Oh,
delusion
it's a
at
human
that
thing.
point.
Guys,
Yeah.
talking to the you should leave her. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna leave. I don't want to go too into it, but there's people that in relationships that made, like we said, toxic relationships, and they can't leave it because of the connection, the attraction. There's
attachment.
something there, the attachment.
The attachment issues are wild for
The
everybody.
dependency.
The
and all,
dependency is
yeah.
cold. It's a cold game, and I just think at that point, it's a human thing. I think we need to focus more on the human aspect than the gender or race aspect. So even as a man, like obviously, this culture plays a part. How you grew up plays a part. Your parents play a part. All these things, your friends you hang out with, all play a part. Relationships are at its core challenging. It's supposed to be because individually you're facing the challenges of the world. Then together we have to face them together. But what happens is when we strive away too far into the romance, it's problematic.
Yeah.
It's just problematic. I just think it's harder for men to come back as well as because you're supposed to be in the logic of it. That's the yin and yang. You can't follow a woman into a fantasy and stay there. I'm only there to visit for your pleasure, but I have to come back to what's real. Because when it all goes a certain way, why a lot of men don't really want to get into relationships is that you're always the bad guy. No matter, I've rarely heard a woman say, you know what, I messed that up and it was my fault. It's not something I hear. So it means the incentive for a guy, no matter how it pans out, somehow you're not going to be the good guy in this.
Yeah,
Or you're
yeah,
not going to be. So it's like, then I do all of that work just so I can be an idiot afterwards because you didn't like the way you don't like the fact that I don't want to be with you no more. So it's, there's no virtual, you're just not. It don't matter what it is. That's why I'm just like, it don't matter what it is. That's why I'm like, yo, people in general just need to pick properly. Because as a guy, look, your role has changed. We talked about your roles have changed. Now it's like, we have to ask that question that Rich was asked that. So what do you want me to do then? Because it's quite confusing to, you want me, you don't want me. You say, oh yeah, but I still want you to do it. Okay, I try and do it, but you're still complaining. Like, bro, I can't be done. That's why I said, it's
So
not
do you think dating's important? Like, sorry to cut you,
Yeah, go
but
on.
like dating. So we're talking about, okay, now as a modern day person trying to find the right person for themselves. Are we now saying dating?
Dating?
No, sorry.
Oh,
Dating, dating around broadens your perspective.
I disagree.
Okay, why
I've always disagreed with that. For a guy.
Broaden your perspective in what though? Elaborate. What do you mean? Like in
what
a
you
sense?
want? Because
Oh.
again, you might date. We're talking about you are now at a point where
Yeah, if you're dating in your 20s, I think you should do that.
You
Yes.
already know what you want.
Most people don't.
I don't think a lot of people.
Most people don't have a clue.
Why a lot of people are?
I don't think dating around prepares you for relationships, in my opinion.
Why? Why? I think
Because
why
dating
would
around
you-
doesn't teach you how to actually build a relationship. It teaches you that you can leave when things do not happen right.
Whoa.
You get
It
comfortable.
depends. I think.
That's what I'm saying. Let me end my
Go on.
point.
Go on.
When I'm dating around, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm doing all of that stuff, I've not learned how to build no relationship because it's ending. I have not built. I give you an example. If you're in relationships long term, they teach you better because you've had to work with someone.
but that can still
you've
be
had to learn.
dating, though.
No, but if I'm dating you, it doesn't. Because if I'm dating around, remember what we said?
I could date someone for a year.
No, this is what I'm saying. That's wild.
long term.
That's wild to me. That's wild.
That's 6 months, 3 months.
So,
that's
okay, yeah, that's
That's
another
what I'm
thing.
saying.
So
We're talking about a year. Now you're saying months. You said date. For
Yeah,
a
but
year.
even
I said, to me, that's
bruv,
wild.
3 months is a long time compared to just
No, I'm talking about a year. I'm
smash and grab.
No,
You
I'm supposed to-
understand?
Okay, cool.
you think
Smash
dating
and
for a
grab.
year? You think dating for a year is long?
No, I think dating
Yeah.
is wild.
You think
Dave,
that's wild?
if you're dating for
And
a
we're
year,
not
nothing
official, we're not
compete.
official.
Yeah, that's long.
You're not.
But yeah, okay,
no,
that's
no.
That's wild.
No, you
That's
can't
wild.
be dating
For
for
a
a
year
year
before
and
we
not
official.
be in an actual
exclusive relationship.
An exclusive relationship if you're dating for a year.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying you could date someone. The point I was making is you could date someone for a year and not be in an intimate, like, proper committed relationship. That was my point. So my point is that you could date people and still learn stuff in relationships.
Once again, you can date for a year. I'm talking about relationships are long term. Yeah, they're long term, not short term. 1 year is still short term. They're not, they're
okay.
long-term.
In the grand scheme of things,
I wouldn't trust a woman personally, in my opinion, if I'm picking one that hasn't settled in a relationship for at least long enough. Because in my mind, I'm like,
well, I'm not settling with you if we ain't dated, if we ain't been going out for 3 years at least.
But I get you.
That's just me. Like, I'm saying, like, all in.
You're not dating a woman that hasn't been in a relationship for 3 years.
No, if me and you haven't been in it 3 years, I can't say I'm fully committed. That's just me.
Okay, cool. So
like, I feel like I need to go through those 1 year for you, 1 year for me, and 1 year for the relationship.
Okay. So if you was,
that's just how I see it.
But you.
I knew it was.
She'll still be your woman though.
She will be. Yeah, there'll be a certain levels of commitment throughout those years.
But at that point, I'm like, okay, we're dating exclusively, aka relationship.
Yeah, I get.
I mean, if you're dating exclusively, it's a relationship.
You're not engaged, bro. It's like until it's so crazy. Until you actually propose, you're dating, bro.
I get what I mean. You know, I'd be like that.
That's why I be saying like that. Like,
but also, you have to understand that's for people who might want to be married or want to go down that route. If you're not a person that wants to be married or believes in marriage, that rule don't apply.
Yeah.
Because I know people that have not married who've been committed for longer than people that got married.
Yeah, I know that as well.
So commitment is not necessarily predicated on ring.
Yeah.
Because I know man that will marry you and neglect you for the next 20 years. So the first year was great. After that, he ain't spoken to you since. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at those things. Yeah, these reference points are not good reference points. I just think at the end of the day, if you're dating someone, you should date with intention, number one.
Facts.
But I think it's like anything. If you go on a CV, bro, and I see you've changed jobs every 3 months, 6 months, bro, I'm looking at the CV like, you
start looking good.
Well, you got fired?
You're fired? Like, well, so that's why I'm saying dating around. This is why I say dating around like 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months does not teach you about relationship. It really doesn't.
Okay.
You've been with someone 2 years, 3 years, a year and a half. Teaches me that you are capable and willing at least to try to. If I just see that you go, I just date, like. I wouldn't look at a celebrity like Lori Harvey, for example. Yeah, beautiful, lovely woman.
Forget about that.
Yeah? She's gorgeous, she's attractive, she's
beautiful.
Woman. She's doing her thing.
Forget about it.
My thing is that everyone's allowed to date. Men are allowed to date and do what they want without shame or judgment. We know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if I don't see her as someone that likes to commit, and she made it clear she's not on all that. She's enjoying her best life anyway, and that's her business.
And guys should listen to that.
And guys should really listen to that. Don't go in there.
Broke up, mama.
Yeah.
I don't think damn.
Another one.
I think everyone knew what it was.
No, I think he knew what it was. I think he wanted to be just another one.
But what I'm saying is, back to the point of when you're dating around, it does not train you for relationships.
Bad for his CV though.
Like when you're dating around, it doesn't.
I don't even know if he can't have a bad
guys,
CV,
let's
bro.
go.
Sorry.
So when we talk about dating around, we're talking about you're not committing to anything. You understand? Remember, I said my 3 C's. I need to see evidence of commitment because I'm like, bro. The reason why men check women's past and rarely than women do, because I think women should do the same thing. Because women are like, why should my past matter? Is that because I'm about to invest in the future of someone that knows capable. That's why I'm looking into it.
Yes.
Because what do you mean? So why would you not look into my past? What's wrong with you?
And we need to. I don't even understand.
Because women say you're not like they will say, okay, well, why's my past matter? It's like, bro, everyone's past matters.
Of course.
So you're about to get with someone.
I'm gonna deal with your past in the future at some point. So don't tell me.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, you're not checking my man's past, and he could be a guy that's abusive, but you decided he's past the amount. Everyone's past matters to some degree. So in my head, I'm not saying you can use it as a make or break, but I'm saying you gotta check like, yo, I gotta vet you. What do you mean? I'm supposed to just accept you as fate. I gotta look at, yo, are you capable? Are you? Because back to the thing about competency, like
it's such a weird one. I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I feel like at the end of the day, everyone develops at their own pace. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Someone might be dating someone, and we was talking about that whole thing where the person might be confused. Like, I really like this girl. I can see myself in a relationship. Whatever they're going through or whatever, they're almost bringing somebody along on that journey as well. And that person themselves is also in a limbo. As in, they don't know where they stand with this person. So now, what happens there? Is it a point where the person that, I don't know, is like, let's say guy and girl, I think it makes it easier. Like, the guy is dating this girl, but he's dating maybe other women as well, because he's at a point where he's trying to find himself. He may not have communicated that to this woman.
But that's a problem, number one. You're not communicating it. And finding yourself is not dating other women, bro. That's not finding yourself. Finding yourself is going back to what Rich was saying.
Yeah.
Go and work on yourself.
Work on yourself.
Man, them are not working on themselves, and women are not working on themselves. They're dating around as working on themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't trust that.
I'm trying to avoid the.
I don't trust that. It's really that. People are not intentional when they're dating. They're not. And if you're not intentional and you're confused, but you're out here dating, how can you not create a mess? You're gonna create a mess because you're confused. Don't talk to no one until you know what you want. Just leave people's children alone until you know what you want. Leave people's kids alone. Real talk.
True.
Leave everyone alone.
Yeah.
Don't come with your.
I love that, but a lot of people don't know what they want.
And that's why you
what
should
I'm
sit
trying
down
to
and
say
go
to
work on yourself, boy.
That's.
Getting involved.
They don't get involved with no one.
Buzz it. That's what celebrating singleness is
Is
about.
about.
What? Who
Spending time
are
with
you
you.
by yourself?
Because what you might realize about yourself is that you can't even be by yourself.
Yeah.
Then, so if you don't want to be with you long term, why the hell is
Why are you trying to force someone's
Trying to
daughter or
force someone
son to be with you?
to be
like?
with you? So
Yeah,
my
that's
thing is
mad.
like, yo,
No, but hold on. I just trying to get to the point
Yeah, of
of
course, get to the point.
the past. So now this girl has been dating this guy,
Yeah.
and whatever, and she kind of strung her along for maybe a year or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Then now she meets another guy,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, "Oh, well, you ain't had a." The girl's like, "I've been single," because she hasn't been officially named as a girlfriend or whatever. She's been single.
Yeah.
Now, what are you gonna say that she can't commit? How
No,
are you
no,
judging the CV now?
So it depends. Once
See what I'm
again,
saying?
every person is different. It depends on your requirements. So I don't think it's one size fits all. I think it's your requirements. For me, back to this is how I'm judging your compatibility with me, and I'm judging your competency. I have to. So people can say what they want, but this is how most people end up in dumb relationships because they don't think it's important. I think it's very important.
So the point is, it's really important to like ask someone about their past.
I think it's important to know who the hell you're bringing into your life. Full stop. So some people might need the past, some people don't. I'm not saying it's my way is the best way. But at my point, I'm like, bruv, what do you mean?
You need to know what you need to know.
What
man.
do you mean?
There's no shyness in relationships.
Bro, I got to know. So if I'm coming to you, a woman, and saying, yo, like, I don't know who you are, I don't know where I'm going. Oh, that's my past man. You switch me off. I'm done. Cool. You could go take that to someone else who don't mind. I mind. I know who I am. So I mind. So we're not
Most
compatible.
guys ask is how many people have you slept with?
See, that's a silly question. I don't ask that. I just ask
That's
like,
the most
what's been
common
your...
one.
And I let you tell me. Whatever you tell me, I'm going to take it as face value. But don't you dare let me find out there's a twitch in that story. Don't let me do that. Because if the day I find out, I forgot, I'm not going to hear it. I'm telling you, like, you're too forgetful for me. So let me just go where I'm going. Because I'm not having it. Because what I've realized is this is how I stay out of the nonsense. This is how I stay out of rubbish for women. This is how I stay out of it. Because if I'm coming to you and I'm having a conversation and automatically you're defensive, I already know, we're not
You're not ready for that.
Let's just go.
Who lies more, men or women?
Everyone lies. I can't mention.
I love that.
Everybody
That's the
lies.
correct answer.
Everybody lies like a mouth.
Because
Everyone
I
lies.
feel like there's a notion that men lie.
Yeah,
more
we
than
do.
Women.
But
I think we might lie about
can't
certain
tally
things
that.
more than.
You can't even tally that. You can't
But
tally
it's
that.
hard. It is
Why?
hard.
Because
We all lying, man. Come on, man.
even
This
that
whole
people
world
lie,
is based
everybody
around lies, man.
Not a
Come
gender
on,
thing
man.
or a race thing. Everybody
Come on, man.
lies, man.
To a degree, there's
But this
lies
is my point.
everywhere.
My thing is that I just think people think they're not allowed to ask, or people get defensive when someone asks something about them. It's like, yo, you want me to bring you into my life, and you want me to be in your life. So we're not going to vet each other? You don't think that's important?
There is a level of transparency needed.
There we go. So you think it's about your past. I'm saying how comfortable you being yourself is what I'm judging.
That's what I'm
So
looking at.
in my mind, if you ask me about my past, I'll start talking. Just give me some liquor. I'll start talking. Tell you everything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not hiding nothing.
Yeah.
So in my head, it's not even about hiding. I'm just saying in general, find what works for you.
Facts.
You might not care about her past. Then do you, my bro? You might not care about his past. Do you, my girl? But when it goes left,
Or if it goes left.
No, it's more of a when.
it's more of a when.
If you're not keeping it
Facts.
real with yourself,
But
if you're
this,
not-
but
yeah,
I
it will
want.
go
This
left,
is my
yeah.
thing. So
In
my
reality,
If
the
there's
real
no
has to
truth
come out
involved,
somewhere.
My thing
it's got to
is,
go left at
if
some
we're
point.
going to be in relationships, we have to talk about everything. Finance.
That's
your
it.
mental health, your family.
That's a key thing for me.
I don't get why
I can't be in a relationship with someone who's not ready to be
But
transparent.
you know why? Because majority
not.
of families in
It's
the
cool.
past,
If you don't want to go there, cool. At this
cool,
point,
bro, it's not be
I'm
argumental.
done. I'm out.
You know what
Like,
happens, Rich?
'cause I can't do
People
that.
get offended about your preference. It's mad how people get offended about our preference. Like, for example,
a preference like what I don't get though.
Like,
Like,
what I've learned is only women are allowed to have preferences. If you're a man, you have preferences, I feel like you get in trouble for your preferences. If you say you want a woman that's like this, you hate
I
it.
think
I
that that's
would
kind of right,
disagree
you know.
that
You reckon?
I kind of think that that's right.
No, break it down, yeah.
At work, we were talking about
Yeah.
what we like, what we don't like,
Yeah.
and I said that I typically wouldn't go. I would go for a black man, and everyone said you can't say that because if we said it, it would be an issue. And I said no, because
No,
you
but that's
like
a
what you
race
like.
conversation, not about your preference in relationship.
But even
They
that,
latched onto
it's
the race.
It's the
You know what I'm saying?
It's similar vibe.
I know what you mean. I hear what you're saying.
Because
Yeah,
she's
right,
talking
yeah.
about
It's
preferences
preference,
still,
innit?
yeah.
It's preference. But
Everyone
then obviously, you know,
has
it isn't every time. When you have racial preference, it sounds wild. It just does.
I don't
You
know
what I'm
why
saying?
It depends who's in the room,
I don't get it.
depends.
Guys,
I
I'm
don't
not
get
talking
it.
about your own individual. I'm just talking about just as a
general,
society.
yeah, it's
If
true.
you stand somewhere and say, I only date white girls or Indian girls, or it sounds
No,
wild,
but she
bro.
never said that. She
No, she
said,
said she dated
I
black.
like black. She didn't say I only.
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Scratch that bit, edit that. Rich was wrong.
All right, so, but that's what I'm saying about preferences. I'm like, you're right. Everyone, it depends on what it is. But what I'm saying is that when men talk about this, what they want the size of the woman to be, what they want the woman from them, then it becomes. I get it all the time. When I start talking about what I want from women, the minute women talk about your pedestal is here, that's what I get all the time. I'm like, where should it be here?
I don't.
Where should it be for your comfortability
I don't know if
here?
there's any argument there. I just
But
don't
one,
get that point.
yeah. But as Brady correctly,
I feel like people compromise. Like, say for example,
way too much and way
we
too
go to
early.
the club right now. It depends on mindset. We go to the club right now. Some attractive girls. You're attracted. She's attracted. At that moment in time, I'm only concerned about the attraction. Then the excitement is when am I gonna see her, or whatever it may be. Then it's only in the process of getting to date her, know her. Then I realize now, now let's go through this checklist. But even then, the checklist is so long. It's gonna take time to know if you're really that person. But what Joe's saying, and I think everyone should more think about is from the beginning having your non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's so easy, like literally going in there with like, nah, man. Like there's some women that tell you, I don't like guys that smoke, and that's it for them.
That's it for them.
But then there's them, I don't like guys that smoke. The guys, I'm gonna go smoke. I wait here. You get? So it's like her compromising. She's already done the wrong thing. That woman there had already done the wrong thing from the beginning.
What do you think makes people compromise, though?
The love addicts, man. You're a love addict. You can't wait to compromise.
Chasing that high.
It's chasing high.
Yeah, chasing that high.
In the void.
Yeah.
Because you're back to the point about.
But
trauma.
I guess the question will really be after that is that what does it take for a person to stand strong in that moment and really
Self-love.
going back to why being single is important, because
Self-love.
if you really appreciate the idea of what true being single is, you're okay with going back to that.
Do you know what happens?
The moment that you see something left, you're okay with going back to that, because you know that how I treat myself
red flags. Some people
is a lot more better.
They talk about most
Yeah, but
relationships-
my point is that I'm making buzzing is that the reason why people go to that compromise is that they've never got to the level of giving themselves all of what they need. So they just be like, this is better than what I can give myself subconsciously.
yes,
you understand?
yes, I understand that.
They don't know that, but it's like, this is better than what I'm gonna give myself. So I'm just gonna stay.
It feels
Even
better.
though I know that this is not what I like a little bit here.
But
What
compatibility.
he is giving me is still a lot more than what I'm giving myself. So I'm gonna take it. And that's it, just stay in
the
that.
compatibility side as well. That's the compatibility side because you're not compatible.
Yeah, and they
what
just
I'm
want to
saying.
admit it.
You just don't want to admit it.
And you don't want to go back to because to you, to you in your mind, the work was being with somebody, but you didn't understand that the work was actually just being with yourself and sharing yourself with somebody who deserves you.
That's some deep shit.
Yeah,
Now, facts. No, that's facts. But that only comes from spending time with yourself, being single. I think it's important to be single, man, to work on yourself, man, and literally work on yourself, like structure.
Once again,
work on
happy
yourself.
single day.
People swear they work on themselves, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever that means. Then the minute you see them again in a relationship, you see them repeat the same thing. Like,
And also, I
how
think
much did you work on yourself for?
and human beings have needs and wants and all that stuff, especially when you've been exposed to, certain types of.
The problem is
activities.
too many people are driven by their needs and wants. This
That's
is what
the
discipline
point.
is
Discipline,
for.
that's facts.
It's like you can't just say, "Oh, I need and want, so let me just do it." Nah. Right now, what you need to do is be by yourself. What you want is some vagina. That's the reality of it. You want it, but what you need is to calm down, learn to bypass that programming, and chill. Because if you can learn to bypass that programming, it can only empower you. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're going to surrender to every need you have,
Well, go get what you need and give what is needed on the other side. Come back to the
I
drawing
don't
board
care.
again.
One thing I've
Do you know what I mean? Like,
One thing
it's
I've learned,
okay.
yeah, when I look at it spiritually, one thing I've learned about a man's role, when I look at spiritual, I'm like, bruh, you can't just grow on your emotions. And this is what everyone does. You can't, you know how many families are started from lust? With no love from
Too many broken families out here because of
A
that.
lot of families were built because we fucked and had a kid.
Yeah.
Not because we love each other, we're compatible. None of that. But now we're here, let's try and become these things that were stacked against us because we don't even know who the hell we are. Do you understand? There's a lot of that because there's no discipline. People don't sit there and be like, wait a minute, I want this, I know this, but
But it's so weird because we're in a different type of era. There's people that have conversations, singletons have conversations like, yo, I'm developing myself, I'm working on myself. I want to have sex, but they have protected sex.
bro, they can do whatever they want to. That's not the case.
You know what I mean?
My thing is, when it goes wrong, know what you did. No, it's not extreme. We're talking about, like, if you want to have sex and that's what you want to do with a stranger or whatever you decide to do. When it goes left, don't blame nobody. No, you decided you wanted to follow your desires. So make sure that condom works. Make sure the person is actually worthy putting your dick in. But we don't want to do that. We just want to just have what we want.
But what should I get to? Then there's the point where,
you know what I'm saying?
It becomes it's true. Anyway, and it still boils down to discipline.
Back to the discipline. So
you
it's not
expose yourself to that.
Yeah,
risk.
so just know you expose yourself to that risk. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, just know it is what it is. So when it goes left, because getting the wrong person pregnant or getting pregnant by the wrong person, oh my God. Oh my God. So in my head, I'm like, bruh.
Listen, don't go swimming naked if you ain't comfortable with who's watching.
With who's watching, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, well, I think that whole casual hookup culture is the problem. I think it's a big, big problem. And as I've gotten older, I've seen why it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, it does not prepare you to stay with someone. It doesn't. You understand? It teaches you to prioritize your desires. That's all it does. True. I want her now, and I can. That's
why we're gonna have the younger generation's gonna have a lot of problems with.
That's why this
long-term committed relationships.
Yeah, because it's not about that. It's
and
about
you can see the conversation. They're having a conversation already.
A boys' trip or a girls' trip is all about that.
About what?
About especially for I'm thinking. Do you know what it is? I'm thinking about uni now. These days, obviously, people are going uni. They're planning trips to
they're enjoying their life.
Yeah,
enjoying life, innit?
Enjoying life.
But I wouldn't say you're going. For me personally, if I'm going on a girls' trip, I'm just there to have a good time.
That's true.
I'm not thinking about.
Well, a lot of people. Sorry, we're talking about more like there has to be a certain type of mentality before you can do certain things. But like you said, there's certain people that they have voids missing in their life. So when they go on all these trips and all that, it's to fill that up, the love, the attention. All of that, and that becomes a focus, and I feel like that's become more popular these days.
Do you know what's happening? People think they need to go somewhere, be with someone, buy this, have this job to fill that void. That void is real hard work. It's live saying, I don't need to buy anything. I don't need a boys' trip. I don't need none of that. I need to sit the hell down and find a rhythm
and figure it out
for myself.
Yeah,
because I think sometimes when we say working on ourselves, I just feel like it's becoming a buzzword. I don't think a lot of people kind of do, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people do. I think it's just a word we say that just kind of keeps the person at bay from asking you too many questions.
It's a defensive thing.
I'm just out here working, just working on myself. Okay, fine. So what have you defined for yourself working on yourself means? Have you found new routines?
Yeah,
what is working on yourself mean? Like I'm not saying I know what's right and wrong for working on yourself. I'm saying as that individual defined what it is, have they set real goals? Have they sat down and say, okay, cool, I'm working on myself. What specifically am I working on? Am I working on my conflict resolution? Am I working on how I argue? Am I working on how I love? Am I working on my forgiveness? What specifically are you working on? Yeah. Because it's too easy. I love asking specificities, and they go into vague and they get defensive and shut down. Because I'm just like, bro, you haven't thought about it. And I've made you feel vulnerable in that moment because I'm asking, like, yo, what are you reading? What books are you reading? Where you at with, I'm just kind of doing this, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that. It's so vague. When I hear vagueness, I'm like, all right, cool, that's you. You might just don't want to explain it. You might not want to talk about it. And it might just be private for you. But what I'm saying is that whatever it is you're doing, don't fool yourself, bro. Because if you fool yourself, that truth gonna come out. One thing I love about relationships, it exposes everybody. So I think I love about it. Eventually, we will have to come behind the curtain and face each other and see what it is and what it isn't. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's why the younger generation are having problems with relationship because they get into one, they start discovering a little bit about each other, and
they're out. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't want
too much
hopping day. Okay, you because a lot of people are just here for the good time. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. I ain't tripping off the good time.
No, it's cool, but you know what? I know social media's and is giving us this one-dimensional about life where we can control the perception of what life really is. But we do need to come to the reality of the fact that life is not perfect all the time, and there is a lot of bad moments mixed with it. I think my week is showing that. Do you know what I mean? But let's not hide that. You know what I mean? Everybody always wants to do the positive, and sometimes we have to embrace the negative stuff because that's actually the lesson. That's actually the work that life is trying to tell you need to focus on.
Facts.
So I've got a lot of work to do.